Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. This is your brother, Muslim comedy OG, Preacher Moss. I'm here to tell you that the Muslim Comedy Tour, the Super Muslim Comedy Tour, is sponsored by Penny Appeal. This thing is going to be the joint. You're talking about Preacher Moss. We're talking about epic artists. You're talking about the ShOUT Show, reporting live from the road. I'm the host of the ShOUT Show, by the way. Listen, this is going to be amazing. We're all doing it for an incredible cause. Right now, the people of Pakistan need you. You've been seeing it in the radio and the press. They're dealing with floods, massive floods that displace plenty of people. Listen, come out. Now, I know we got a lot of artists on here. I love them all. Let me tell you something. You've been rocking with me, Preacher Moss, the OG Muslim Comedy, since 2004. This is 18 years we've been doing this thing. We have a relationship. So come out and laugh. Come out, let's do Allah's work. Let's come out and support these brothers and sisters that need our help. Make sure you get your tickets. The streets are talking, and they're talking about you coming to the show. I'm Preacher Moss. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Super Muslim Comedy Show. I think I did that right. Take care.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. It's your brother Preacher Moss, host of the SOS, the ShOUT Show, on behalf of myself and executive producer Satana Woodfield. Listen, everybody, man, I hope you had a great weekend. I have to say all of my football teams lost, with the exception of the Redskins, who I thought were going to lose, and all the ones will win. I think that's number one. I want to get off my chest. Number two, I will be headed to the UK tomorrow. I know I said I was going to be leaving today. Sometimes, you know, when you're not feeling right, you don't get on the plane. These are the facts. At my age, if I don't feel right, I'm not getting on the plane. So I'll be going tomorrow, inshallah, possibly Wednesday. If it's not good, then. So, listen, let's get to the topic today. The reason why I'm doing this topic today, because last Thursday I did something about, playing to your greatness. Don't let people play you small. Don't come up small in big situations. So I thought this would be an appropriate topic, which is about pay me. Understanding your worth. Pay me. Now, a lot of folks are going to misconstrue this as something that is just financially based. Yes, it does have a financial base to it. It has financial texture to it. But it is so important in life to know your worth, not just in business situations, but in relationships, in families, things like that. It's important to have a very, very procured understanding of what you bring to a situation. So knowing of your worth is also about securing and expressing what your value is. Value is what we're going to be talking about a lot during this brief time. I normally don't try and do this in one session, but I'm going to try and do it today. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why. Because we're in an election year. And the last two elections have been framed around getting people to underestimate what their worth is, to somehow move away from what their power is. And I feel like I don't know who's going to win in the midterm. I don't care who's going to win the presidential election in 2024. I feel like we need to be prepared irregardless. We need to be doing the business of procuring and expanding and expressing our value in everything that we do. Whether it's a ShOUT show, comedy, writing, I am on an all-out sprint for making sure that people understand what my value is. Because people, when you are developing aspects of your value, you'll find that when you focus on one thing, if you're really, really focused on one thing, you're going to find that it's going to lead you to other things. You know, this is part of the creative process too, but you're going to have to go back to. Now, I'm going to mention some things, some theories about blue ocean strategy. But blue ocean strategy has a lot to do about how you get something to the marketplace. We want to talk today about, inshallah, how you own your own marketplace, how you frame who comes in your marketplace, how you look at competition, because these are things that are extremely important. All right. So don't move. We're talking about pay me. Understand your worth here on the ShOUT Show. See you. Don't you move. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Well, before we jump into the show, let me welcome our family here. I see everybody's in the comment section. Let's go ahead and get them in here. Shout out family. Who we got here? We got Sister Ree. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Sister Ree. Hopefully you had a good time over in Dallas. We didn't cross paths, but hopefully you and Juan had a good time at the wedding. I hope you got back safely. Nice to see you on the show. Thank you. Next up, Mama San, better known as Mary Mosque. I can see clearly now, the cataracts are gone. All right. I've been waiting to do that, Mama Son. I hope that you are recovering and successfully recovering from cataract surgery. Yeah, that was funny, though. I don't care how you see it. All right, that was that was funny. I'm going to be doing a lot of eye references during this show, Satana. I can't go for that. No. Okay, next we're gonna do a lot of eye references. All right, next up. Also, shout out to my Aunt Maxine, who is serving in the capacity of steward, making sure my mother was doing well as well. Shout out Maxine. Sister Aika, wa alaikum assalam to barakatuh, all the way from Melbourne. Peace and blessings to you and your family. Thank you so much for joining us. Next up, my main man, Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down. My brother, Altaf Rashid. How you doing, beloved? Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Our Canadian envoy to the show, making sure that the quality of the show is good on this side of the border and the other side of the border. We appreciate you. Next up, my main man, Eric, brother. Welcome back to the platform. We missed you a couple of days. God bless you, man. Hope you're doing well and your family is well and the best of you, man. Good to see you, man. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I'm gonna give a shout out to brother Bilal and sister Sonia Salahuddin. They are on a cruise. They are always so nice to send me pictures of their cruises. It is very funny to see them on a cruise. They're quite the couple. So God bless them. I hope they're having a good time. My mother said, "You will pay for the eye gel." I don't know about that, Mary. Okay, so come on, Ma, I can go all day. Stop. All right. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Of course, to our illustrious executive producers, this is Satana Whitfield, making sure that I don't get killed on the show by my mom. All right, everybody. So here's the deal about pay me understanding your worth. Two things I want you to understand. If you don't open your mouth, you ain't worth nothing. If you don't open your mouth, you ain't worth it. And in a market space, if you don't speak, then you're not part of the market. When you speak about pay, when you speak about your value, when you speak about your worth, I want you to understand something. You are being disruptive, but this is a natural disruption. In the business infrastructure that has been around for years, there's always been a conscious understanding that at some point in time, you've got to pay somebody what they're worth. You're not going to pay somebody what they're worth. You're not going to pay somebody at all, or you're going to pay somebody over what they're worth. Then why does this matter? I tell you why it matters. Because it has so much to do with the liberation of people, not just financially, but being able to, in some regards, throw off the shackles of what everybody's expectations are. Many of you have heard this story. The club owner, J.D. Daniels, God bless him, he passed away. Good friend in Milwaukee. He owned the Comedy Cafe in Milwaukee. And we were good friends. We were good friends till one day he was going to headline me, and it conflicted with a college I was doing. And the problem was the college was paying me roughly 4 times what he was paying me. I only had to do 1 show for the college, and I had to do 6 shows for him. And I said, JD, I can do all the shows, but I can't do this one date. I have a college. And I had gone through this thing about being in the colleges because I've been a comedian making about $500 a week doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows. And I had gotten into the college market. And the beautiful thing about the college market is your idea and how you present it in the marketplace determines how you get paid. So essentially, and I owe this to Owen Smith, my little brother, Owen Smith, showrunner for The Last OG. Owen had a college agent named Baz Schuler. And Owen kept telling me when I was in California, man, you do all this stuff with your stand-up and da-da-da, and it's great information, it's funny. He goes, you're wasting it in the comedy clubs because all they do is comedy. So you can say the most profound thing. They're going to pay you the same in comedy. Because you have you thought about colleges? And I'm like, of course, because my mentor Dick Gregory did colleges, and he's like, look, if you can get into the college market, you can do well. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And what I understood in the college market, once I got a college agent, because I did try it on my own. I got one college. It was in West Virginia. It went horribly. But I got a college agent, Bass Shooter, who we don't diligence, but shout out to Bass Shooter because they were a part of my success on the college market. What happened was I began to understand that there's a marketplace that goes on for college talent. And in that marketplace, they have tiers for how people get paid. Now, the way you can skirt the tier is that you come with a very unique idea. That unique idea was my creation, Into Racism Comedy and Lecture Tour, which is a combination of humor and talking about critical race theory in a way. And here's the thing, I didn't take it to black people. I took it specifically to white people. Why? Because white people care about racism. Black people complain about racism. But white people care about racism and they're willing to pay you to tell them about themselves. Presto. It was the same thing that was going on in the club. And what happened was I had a commercial thing. It was called the Post-Affirmative Action Survival Guide. I have this thing about putting out the toughest concept. And if somebody buys it, then the commercial one's going to be easy. So the commercial idea was Into Racism Comedy Lecture Tour, very accessible. And what I liked about it was it followed a strategy about Blue Ocean, whereby most of the lectures that were done were mostly done by white people, and the black people that did lectures, these things were largely contained to Black History Month. And I did start in the Black History Month bubble, but my argument with my agents was racism happens outside of Black History Month. We need to go ahead. I don't care if you book all of February, but I can't wait for February. And what essentially happened was I was able to do several things. Number one, in that space, I started scripting what my agents would tell the buyers, the college buyers. And when we would do marketplaces, I had them rehearsed on what to say and how I would interact and engage with them. And learning that system, brothers and sisters, was so important. Because when you understand your worth, you have a different perspective of how you go into the marketplace. On the high end of thinking, on the high end of business entrepreneurship, a lot of times you will get the opportunity to create your market. A lot of people don't understand, hey, Preach, how you been doing Allah Made Me Funny and Muslim comedy for so many years? Well, back in 2003, 2002, shout out to my big brother, Reginald Kitchen. Shout out to Harry Weber. Shout out to a couple folks who talked to me about framing a market in a market. Now, here's the deal. Religiously, I did not create anything. Religiously, I am not a creator. What I am is a good discoverer. Learning efficiently how to put things together, that was my forte. Now, here's the thing, and I want everybody to pay attention. Allah Made Me Funny was not a tour. It was a curriculum. So indeed, with the laughter, we were selling education. Education is the thing that we will do now. Whether you see comedians out doing television shows, there was a heavy amount of education. And shout out to Manwar Muhammad. He was right. If you invest in being a master teacher, then you're going to find different venues whereby you can teach. The different venues are, brothers and sisters, different markets. Allah Made Me Funny was different. It was creative, but let's be honest. While I might have designed Allah Made Me Funny, I did not create laughter. I did not create humor. We created new vehicles for people to get to that in a marketplace space. And that's what it becomes. More and more about, can you create your own market? Now, when you say pay me, here's the thing I want you to understand. Because a lot of people going, yeah, pay me, pay me, pay me. I'm going to tell you something. You have to figure out how to pay yourself first before anyone else pays you. Think about what I'm saying. You have to figure out how to pay yourself first before anyone else pays you. What does that mean? It means you have to have such a complete project when you go to folks
that they automatically reach for their checkbooks. And here's the reason why: because they recognize value. When a person can't tell you how to do your project, you're on the right track. When a person can't tear down your project because they don't know if I start over here or start over there, you are on the right track. And when you do that, what happens is you're able to declare your value. No offense at all. Don't take this wrong. There are a lot of Muslim comedians who are making good money. They're making great money because in the marketplace, when we started, we had a high bar for what the value was for the Muslim comic, not for talent, but for the Muslim comic. So you have some guys that are making $1,000. They had never done 15 or 20 or 30 open mics, but the market was so open that that's what people did. And here's the other thing too: don't hate. I don't hate on innovation. I don't hate on people who innovate on my ideas. I hope people don't hate on me for innovating on their ideas. It's a part of a process. Some of us are going to be first adopters. Some of us are going to be late to the party. Some of us are just going to be trying to figure out where we can get in to make a couple bucks. That being said, the question here is pay me understanding your worth. When you are engaging, that's why I say pay yourself first. Part of that process is you're going to understand what your value is. Your value is going to be undergirded by the fact that you're willing to do some things, that you're willing to look at a market not for what it is, or what you think it might be. A lot of times you have to really understand that markets are going to change. So one part about understanding your worth is understanding the market's going to change. And in that space, you naturally have to be able to adapt. So part of understanding your worth is you have to be able to forecast what your worth is going to be. I see my big brother, Zachariah is on the show. He can tell you this. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Big shout out. He went to Umrah. I don't know if he's back yet. Big shout out, Zach. But Zach will tell you, when you're doing business, he has a chip company. He does wrap snacks. Part of doing wrap snacks in 2022 is figuring out what the cost of wrap snacks is going to be in 2023. When you do a budget, they have something that's called inflation, and it's inflation indicators, and it's at 5%. And that 5% will let you know how much something's going to cost down the road. Well, guess what? You do the same thing with your worth. You hear things about people going back to school. You hear things about people going to get trained and things like that. I'm just telling you guys what I know as an entrepreneur, as a creative. And let me say this too. In business entrepreneurship, you're not going to be surrounded by the most creative people. What am I saying? It means that there is a place for you above beyond what it is in the marketplace that you can reestablish yourself, establish yourself. A lot of times, musicians per se, the Coltrane's, the Miles, the Thelonious Monks, the brotherhood of music allowed for them to build on music. But that's a very shared type of thing. The same way I said I did All That Made Me Funny, I made it point to let everybody know that what? I didn't create humor. I didn't create laughter. What I did was develop pockets and concepts where people had access to it. Whether it was in the mosque, whether it was in the club, whether it was in the street, whether it was in the DVDs, whatever it is, we figure that. In business, here's the deal. Everybody's going to steal an idea. If you look at franchises, I got a franchise. Well, there was an original idea, and then they franchised it. Don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. Appreciate and study the models. Study the models. While you're developing your model, study the model. You know, I have a particular concept about public speaking. What is it called? It's built largely upon the fact that you have to engage with models. You have to engage with models. You have to procure information. Okay? You have to procure information. It's predictive, meaning that you have to get up close to something. That's why they have an idea about internships. When you hear things about a Puff Daddy or something like that, what did he do? He did an internship. He got fired, but he did an internship. And being able to peel back and see what business looks like for a guy who didn't finish college, for a guy that didn't get his degree, okay? This is what I'm talking about. The organic opportunities that are out there. Understanding your worth is really important. Also, this here, and think about this, and we're going to take a break. It calibrates the things around you. It calibrates the people around you. You know, Harvard institutes this idea about people's worth, and because Harvard is who it is, when people go to Harvard, they bring in a certain type of clientele that are Harvardish, and they create a culture. All right, we'll be right back talking about understanding your worth. All right. Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe, and your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right, we're back. Listen, I want to throw something up. Can we throw Brother Zachariah's comment up? Business 101, you are. This is probably one of the most important aspects of what we're talking about. When I talk about my program for public speaking, which is persuasive presentation, it literally goes to this fact that you are your product, that you are preparing yourself to go to the marketplace. The marketplace will not come to you unless you are on that level and you are establishing something that the marketplace needs. Number one, something that they need. Number something they can't replicate. Or two, something they can't steal. This is why I talk to people a lot about business. Somebody asked me, what do you model your business on? I'm going to tell you this, and I never really said this before. I model my business models on the denial of opportunities of what we call unlettered people. Let me say that again. My business models are modeled behind people who were brilliant folks, but because of racism, because of sexism, they did not get their chance. And I literally pulled together models in terms of why these people were denied a chance. And I look at what's available to me today. I love the unlettered. And we talk about that in terms of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I love the unlettered. Elijah Muhammad, I love the unlettered. Malcolm was unlettered. I love the unlettered. Why? Because they have a very organic understanding that they are their product. And you must understand your worth, because at some point in time, brothers and sisters, you will be called on to develop your own market. And at that point in time, you can't get in your own marketplace and not know what your worth is. I literally used to put on programs and lose money just to see who would come through the door. And if I had 5 people come to a show, it was like 500 people to me. And I gave them the best show that they could have. Why? Because those people would inform me of what I needed. I know I might need more marketing, but to look at people's eyes and see how they reacted to what I was doing on stage or the words I was saying, be able to see that is your control group. Those are the people, brothers and sisters, who are going to tell you this is all right. The control group from Allah Made Me Funny was Masjid Muhammad in 2004. It was 2003, a community dance. And we gave out a bunch of Allah Made Me Funny bookmarkers and just had Preacher Moss on. It wasn't even a trio. But to be on stage and give them those bookmarkers with the little logo and see the people smile, it wasn't even the original logo, the color one, it was the black and white, and to see people smile, I said, that is an entire marketplace. And we've been able to do things out of that. Tours, I'm getting ready to go on tour next month. You know, it's funny when you go on, people call you up, oh, we're going to invite you to the tour. I'm like, I'm the first one ever did a tour. We're doing 10 cities. We're doing 20. I was the first one to come to the UK and pitch them on doing 20 cities in a row. Why? Why was I able to do that? And believe me, we argued about what I got paid. I got paid well. In fact, I paid myself first. And a lot of people got upset because, you know, black folk, we trying to make sure everybody, no, pay me first. That's why I say, hey, Satana, you gonna pay me first for my idea. Why did I say pay me first? Because I knew the minute that they were done with me, they were going to go right behind my back and try to do the same thing. It's business. I don't care. But you're going to pay me first for this idea. These are the things that are really, really important. And I know we're coming to the wrap. But so much about understanding your worth is the fact, like Brother Zachariah said, that you are your product. I wouldn't necessarily buy rap snacks from Brother Zachariah. But I would buy rap snacks from Brother Zachariah because I know the enthusiasm he has behind rap snacks. That I know that there's a story and a narrative that goes far beyond the chip. When I was in Philadelphia, he took me to the warehouse and we looked at, and he was honest. He talked about the wins, the losses with chips and things like that. And it was an honest conversation. But I'm looking at the man, I'm like, it doesn't matter what he does, I'll buy it because of him. There are deals, brothers and sisters, that are done on handshakes. I know people think about business plans and da-da-da. Let me tell you how the real world works. A handshake starts a lot of, and then the numbers come later. Well, what does the handshake have to do with it? It's that somebody sees you as not a peer. Somebody sees you as valuable. I don't want to be seen as a peer. I want to be seen as valuable. And this is the place where you start doing that. I want you to mark down, if you get a chance, write down. We're going to go just 2 minutes over, Satana. Do this for yourself. Write down 5 things that you think make you valuable. 5 things. I'm not saying what they are. It could be you're smart, you're good smile, you're analytical, but write down those 5 things. And from that 5, just find 3. Find 3. And this is the part of course, doing a self-assessment of what it is you do, how you do it, where you do it, what type of people you're dealing with. The marketplace, is it a marketplace for people to come, or is it a marketplace for the world? You know, understand that you're here for a purpose. And when people ask you, you know, your value, then you need to say, hey, this is what I'm worth. All right, this is Shout Out Show today. You guys have been tremendous. Inshallah, I'll be continuing this. I got to go over to the UK. I got to work. But I will be, of course, broadcasting as much as I can. And some of it will be pre-taped. Some of it actually won't. I'm going to have some interviews from people on the road. Thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you. God bless you. And we'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Understand your worth. Take care.